That's for sure.
Yeah, 80 degrees and our average high 78. So what does that say about the heat that we saw? Tomorrow is actually going to be a pretty similar day. Overall, just really hot and incredibly humid. We still have heat advisories, heat warnings that continue throughout the day tomorrow. Both warn of the same exact thing, which is it's dangerously hot out there, especially for anyone who has to work outside. And the only difference between the two really is just a couple of degrees. Now, in order for us to be officially in a heat wave, we need 3 consecutive days, meaning 3 days in a row where we hit 90 degrees or above. You can check off Tuesday, we hit 92. You can check off today, we hit 98, which was a new record high for Boston Logan, by the way. Previous record was 96 set back in 1923. And looking at our forecast for tomorrow, a 97, that's a 7-degree cushion for us to hit that heat wave. So I think it's a pretty much done deal. Highs for tomorrow, mid to the upper 90s, 97 in Boston, as I mentioned, 98 Billerica, 94 in Worcester, 98 degrees in Fitchburg. That's 2 degrees shy of the triple digits. And that's the actual high temperature, not even the feels like. Feels like temperature, the heat index takes into account the humidity, and it's as bad as it gets out there. We typically do get humid summers here in New England. We all know that, but we're typically hovering right around here in the 60s. And our dew point for tomorrow, 71 degrees. That's where it was today, too. A lot of us actually had dew points in the mid 70s. And while we do start going back toward normal Friday and Saturday, look what's ahead for Sunday, back up to 72 degrees. So the heat index, the forecast for 7 a.m. tomorrow, this is what it's going to feel like at 7 o'clock in the morning. It'll feel like 82 degrees. The afternoon hours is when the heat is obviously most dangerous, especially for anyone working outside. And we're going to see heat indices reaching the low 100s again tomorrow afternoon. Even at 10 o'clock tomorrow night, it's going to be feeling like the 90s in Boston. Now, we did see some severe weather today. We had severe thunderstorm warnings for northwestern Worcester County, produced some thunderstorm wind damage in spots like Athol, going into Baldwinville, even Orange as well, some downed trees and power lines, that kind of thing. The storm has barely moved since then. It has significantly weakened. It's only barely moved off to the east, and it's going to continue to dissipate. So overnight, we're going to primarily be dry. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be dry. Now, the thunderstorms we saw today, we don't have a storm system moving through. That popped up primarily because of how hot and humid it is out there. That's creating its own instability in the atmosphere. So with how hot and humid tomorrow is going to be, I think you know what I'm going to say here. Late afternoon hours tomorrow evening, more chances for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Pretty hit or miss coverage, though, same as today. And furthermore, Storm Prediction Center is saying we've got a level 1 to 2 out of 5 risk for some severe weather. For the Boston metro area, level 1 out of 5. But farther off to the west, closer to central Massachusetts, level 2 out of 5 risk for some severe weather. I do have some good news for the parade, though. So the high pressure heat dome that's causing our heat wave over the last 48 hours has been sliding farther to the south for Friday. And now the forecast is so far to the south that we're actually going to be able to see the return of the sea breeze. So what does that mean for temperatures in Boston? So early in the morning, we're going to be in the 80s, but late morning and during the parade, we're going to be able to get that sea breeze kicking in, which previously we were not because of the forecast position of the high pressure heat dome. So that's going to allow temperatures to dive into the 70s. Now, it's not all good news. We still have chances for some thunderstorms as we go into Friday. That continues into Saturday, Sunday, and all the way into Monday as well, with temperatures in the 80s.
Air, a lot of humidity, and even a few storms today, Kelly.
Yeah, we had a couple of thunderstorms, actually severe thunderstorm warnings in northwestern Worcester County. The thing is, we actually don't even have a storm system rolling through. The reason we had thunderstorms is because of how incredibly hot and humid it is out there, creating its own instability in the atmosphere. Normally, we need a front for that. Normally, we need a low pressure system for that. We didn't have any of that. It was all the heat. Now, thankfully, things have quieted down. Now, overnight, it's still going to be incredibly warm, at least for what's typical for overnight lows. 67 to 72 degrees, not much of a cool down. And the reason it doesn't feel like much of a cool down is just because it's so incredibly muggy. If it was a drier heat, I'd say that's probably okay and it's going to feel nice. And not the case, though. Early tomorrow morning, 70s and 80s for the morning commute. We are dry for the morning hours. However, as we get to the afternoon and evening, again, since it's hot and humid, I think you're knowing what I'm going to say here, we've got more chances for isolated showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. 72 at 7 a.m., 97 degrees at 2 o'clock, 1 degree shy of the potential record. So that's definitely close enough where we could break that record. And then 7 o'clock down to 89 degrees. So it's no surprise that we have heat advisories. We have those excessive heat warnings still in effect for the area. Tomorrow feels like temperatures are going to be in the low 100s. So average high is at 78. Tomorrow, 97. So incredibly warm, back down to the 80s, and then we start to warm back up later in the week.